have been working together for over 15 years, right, to counter these practices and everything that we're going to talk about next. So these are the aims of Hecho por Nosotros Anónima. So basically, it's about building bridges, making awareness, sharing knowledge, mediating global issues, developing and also sort of demonstrating that there are alternatives to what we're doing, and facilitating knowledge, which kind of goes back to what I said before. So yes, like I said before, and here we have that it is about building bridges, it's about enhancing collaborative systems, and it's all an effort to will basically train or build transparency and traceability in the fashion and textile industry, right? And they do this through a toolkit, which we will very briefly mention as well shortly. And they are gathering not just entrepreneurs, but also, teachers and professors, and people who are actually working in the industry, who knows the ins and outs of everything. So we are also now going to jump to the very end, where we can see the roadmap here. So it's been a long way. We can see the 15 years of experience, and right now we are trying to inspire through the results of all the research made before, and growing the presence in the community, in the global community. Right. So thank you for being here, and please don't be afraid to follow us on Instagram, email, or just look through our website. Thank you again, and I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm gonna pass over the floor to Edgay. Thank you.
Thank you, Luna.
Hi, Luna. Sorry to interrupt this lab. So we had to do lab number 9 and your lab together, because there was an issue with the rooms. So we will have, I was going to do that same presentation, so you already done it perfect, but I want you to know that we have 3 more speakers in this lab, okay? And whenever you finish with your part, I will give a word for them to start. Is that okay?
Absolutely, the more the merrier, as they say, okay. So for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Right. So Edgay, please feel free to move ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. So our lab 3 is circularity in action and the adoption of regenerative models. As we all know, both of them are essential for building a sustainable future. By embracing circularity, we can reduce waste, conserve our resources, and create new opportunities for the future generations. And by adapting regeneration, we can restore our ecosystems, enhance biodiversity, and again improve the future and present generations' well-being. We will be discussing this in detail in this lab. As Hecho por Nosotros team, we have been actively working on increasing collaboration to create more sustainable and ethical models for both production and consumption in the fashion industry. And these efforts actually reflect a broader movement towards circularity in action, or the development of the economic systems designed to eliminate waste. We bring together all the stakeholders in the fashion industry and outside of the fashion industry to reimagine a sustainable and technologically empowered future. We have 2 speakers in this lab from Hecho por Nosotros, and they will each share their perspective on the issues that are crucial to put circularity in action in fashion. I would like to start with Alexandra. would you like to introduce yourself, Alexandra, and tell us a little bit about what role the design stage play in establishing circular supply chain, which is crucial in achieving the circularity in the fashion industry?
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra Menguverdi. I am a member of waste management in Ecopos Nosotros organization. My professional background is in sustainable fashion design and production, as well as in management of sustainable supply chain in fashion industry. So now coming to the question, it is estimated that about 80% of the final environmental impact of the product is actually determined on the stage of the design. So I would say that design stage and the role of the fashion designer is crucial to establish a circular supply chain. Why is that? It's because on the design stage, we deciding about key features about our product. We deciding about how it will be produced, how many processes will be needed for it to be produced, and also about fabric selection, about finishing methods, about dyeing methods, and many, many more. And all the decisions will define not only how the product will be produced, not only how the fabric will be sourced, but also how the product will be used, how it will be cared for, also how long it will retain value and will actually circulate in the sustainable system. And in the end, also how it will be reprocessed to come back to the cycle. So as we can see, all of the decisions are really important, and in the end, they have a direct influence on the whole garment life cycle.
Thank you. And I have one follow-up question. Then what represents the most significant challenge for fashion designers when it comes to adapting circularity? And what do you think, what approaches can be used to overcome this challenge?
Well, there is many challenges that possibly fashion designer can face while adopting the circularity. For example, limited access or even lack of the access to sustainable technologies and sustainable fabrics, especially when we talk about innovation. Also limited access to particular resources and tools that could support circular design, that could empower designer to choose wisely, choose conscious the fabrics, the production methods. But I think above all of that, as a base, the biggest challenges for the fashion designer is the required shift in the mindset. So it has to be more future orientated, it has to be more strategic. Also, new design approach is needed, the shift in the design approach from current so much product centric to more system based. And I think that the key solutions for the biggest challenges is collaboration and its education. And this is why the role of Ecopos Nosotros is so important by creating toolkit for professionals, brands, for designers, and also by hosting so many different events like today, and workshops and webinars, and by establishing partnerships with universities. They can really support and they can promote the transition to the more circular, more sustainable fashion ecosystem.
So in this moving to the sustainable fashion industry, what do you think technology can enhance and within the especially circular supply chain in the fashion industry in facilitating waste management?
Definitely technology play an important role when it comes to supporting waste management within circular supply chain. Through, for example, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithm, we can optimize waste management, we can also optimize waste collection, and in the end, right sorting. And we can actually mention here many other technologies on each stage of the supply chain, but I will mention just a few. starting from the production, product development by, for example, virtual sampling, virtual design, and also by digital material base, we can reduce the need for physical samples of fabrics and of garments. Further, going to the production stage, which is the most hard when it comes to the waste, generated waste in the production, because here we can generate even to 40% of the waste, textile waste of offcuts. So on this stage, we can use marking and also cutting optimization software that will help us to use the fabric in the most efficient way. And in this way, we can reduce the waste. And in the end, I have to mention, of course, also recycling, and technology has a huge impact on developing new recycling technologies, as well as reverse logistics.
Thank you very much for these insights. I would like to move to our other panelist, Luna. I would like to ask a question about circularity. I know that Luna is very familiar with the companies that are working in the fashion industry. So on the topic of circularity, why is it that companies are not fully circular in your perspective, Luna?
Well, maybe I would start with a few keywords, like, for example, there's no framework set yet, right? And we're always in a very traditional, old traditional setting as well. I mean, the industry is also extremely complex, so it's, this is also that adds to the point, and lack of investment as well. So I think that we need to look into two different perspectives here. So we need to differentiate between a small and a large company, right? And also how this company was structured in the very beginning. Was it structured the old way, or is it in a flexible way? Because usually we see them very robust, which is, it sounds very nice, but it also means that it's not so flexible, right? So that poses a problem in a way, because, the lack of flexibility means that implementing something new will be a challenge. So, yeah, I mean, it's extremely complex, like I mentioned before. So one little thing can really affect the whole chain here. So how do you control everything? How do you make everything flexible so that one change can positively adapt to the others, right? And I don't know, maybe we could say that new circular solutions, right? I mean, we love them. They're amazing. They're great, but they're not invested in, right? Or not really in the past. So we can see a big player right now taking away of circularity, and they're making a lot of noise. We see small players who love circularity. They actually do it the right way, but they stand out. And the problem is that they shouldn't stand out. So why are companies still not fully circular? I think it's because of those things. So we're missing the framework. We're still traditional. Complexity, and also the lack of investment from every single perspective here. So those are my 5 cents on it.
So these are the struggles I think you see. Do you see any other struggles from a solution provider perspective? And what do you think Hecho or Nosotros can help with them?
Okay, when I think about startups struggling with something, I usually see them, in a basement somewhere. They're working in this crazy amount of time on this crazy project, but they stay in that basement, right? So they're not able to reach the right target, the right investors, or the right people, right? So I think this is one of the main struggles. And of course, I see Hecho Nosotros here as a solution, because they're sort of building the bridge between the startup or the new solution provider to the actual investor, right? So this is key. And this is, it's the very first struggle that comes on the road. Then, of course, you have all the other ones. So the product and what I mentioned before about, how do you implement this into a company? But the first step is, being noticed, making sure that you're reaching the right person. So yes, I think this is something that they're helping with. So it's exciting.
Yes, and at the last stage, we are working on the waste part, right, as a group. So regarding waste, do you believe it is achievable to fully avoid landfill waste? And how is Hecho por Nosotros tackling with this issue?
That's a tough question. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to predict the future, but I would say we're definitely not there yet. Because even sustainable companies are still mixing fibers. So the very core of it's still not right. Right. So you have, okay, you're producing a garment made from recycled cotton, but then you're also adding recycled polyester. So then it's impossible to recycle, or almost impossible. It's very hard, and it's not, you know, as doable as if you were using just one fiber, even if it wasn't recycled, right? And the finishing techniques, we know that hydrophobic techniques, right? They're making even cellulose fibers not recyclable anymore, even with enzymatic processes. So why do we still do this when we have other sustainable ways, right? So we still have a long way to go to fully make a circular loop here and make the fabrics, you know, wasteless in a way so that we can always use them over and over again. Yeah. And how is Hecho for Nosotros, you mentioned, doing this? Well, I mean, basically, with a toolkit, we're sort of empowering this, or more like promoting the possible or potential solutions, right? So these small startups that are recycling in different parts of the earth, because if you have to send a textile to Asia, where usually the mechanical recycling machines are, you know, where's the sustainability there where you have to ship it one way and then the other, right? So yes, it's about promoting the small solutions globally, where we can see or use alternative materials, right? So I guess that's where I would link the two of them. And yeah.
Thank you, Luna. I would like to have the time for the last 9 to present themselves and to get joined into the discussion. So let me share my screen. All of your participants talked already, or
Yes.
Yes,
their lab?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. So let me share my screen so we can give, okay. So I have Eliazar Guevara, he's the founder of Novabori. I have Gabriel Rios Zambrano, who's a founder of Altitude and Cricket Textile. I have Andrea Nashim, founder of Reciclar Recycling Technology. And I have, and Humberto Juarez had to leave, unfortunately, but they are all very welcome. And also they can, I think they have a great insight for your discussion that you were just having. So since we had this issue with the rooms, I would like each of you to present yourself. We're gonna start with Eliazar from Novabori. I'm gonna put his slide here. So I'm gonna let you open, Eliazar, your mic. Please unmute, and we can start with your
Thank you.
Your story.
I'm Eleazar from Mexico, and we have here machines to recycling. And so I have been working with almost 20 years in this industry of recycling the textiles. And I was working with creating low value products like blankets. So I started almost 15 years I was working with that. But after 15 years, I tried to get into the fashion world. And that was huge. And the problem was that I was trying to introduce the recycled fabrics in this market, specific in the Mexican market. Why? Because where I live was arriving excessive textile waste. We have, for example, my first partner is recycling 1,000 tons of textile waste every month. This is one of maybe 30 or 40 factories. The other are smaller, of course. This is big one. So the context is that I knew how to recycle, but only in blankets, and I was trying to get into the fashion market with a good fabric. So the HxN was the market. I didn't know how to get into the market. We were not aware of it, but it existed. We was trying to look for the right market in Mexico, but nobody knew that in that moment, 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago, almost, I was trying to find somebody to sell my fabrics, and nobody was trying to buy it. Also, we had barriers in colors, fabric types, materials, like somebody said before, the mixes of the materials, the process that we don't have here, all the process in one factory, but I used a lot of factories to change that. And after getting to the put my fabric in the right market with the right price, with the right quantity, and that was the context that I was 10 years ago. The solution was the co-creation. Today I'm going to talk about co-creation. I have no power. We are a small company. So what we did was to work with designers, try to find designers to get in, to try the fabrics and listen their needs, like fabric, what kind of fabric they wanted. It was thicker, the thickness, and the colors, everything. So, for example, I also work with Hecho por Nosotros, and they help us to, for example, classify the colors, because if you know, the fabrics that are recycled have no specific colors, only if you try to do some finishing that. What are the results? For example, something that I was not expected really was to get in Fashion Week Mexico or Fashion Week New York with some designers. Almost I have been working with 4 or 5 of the designers in Mexico that are working, that get into Fashion Week Mexico, and several designers started to work with my fabrics. And for example, Gabriel, that he's here, is working with my fabric for the restaurant market. So we started to understand what kind of market we could get into with these fabrics. And the impact, when we started, there were a few brands that were talking about recycling in Mexico. Almost nobody was talking about that. But indeed, my first fabric, I didn't say that was recycled. I sell it, but I didn't say that. So after I say that it was recycled, they were surprised. And at this moment, the recycled fabrics are common. Not yet are the mainstream, but we are and we are created a market. So the most important tool that I had was the co-creation. Thank you. And this is my fabric.
Thank you, Eleazar. It's very interesting how from the beginning you didn't have any resources, you didn't know who to ask for information or how to insert your fabrics in the market. And then you started collaborating with different people, different designers, and lastly with Hecho por Nosotros, and how that from that connection you get a lot of value, right? Like Luna as well was sharing with us. So I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you, Eleazar. I'm gonna go now with Gabriel from Altitude and Cricket. So you have the word, Gabriel. I'm sorry I cannot present you. Is that okay if you present yourself? I'm sorry, so we don't waste a lot of time. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Julia, don't worry. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Gabriel Rivera. I'm the founder of Altitude and Cricket. And the idea is to present you the work of 15 years on how can we create social impact in the fashion industry. We designed a model that we work especially with single moms and head household women's, because we saw this very a huge problem here in Mexico. We saw that most of these women, they have to go to these fabrics and work, and they have to leave their kids alone. Actually, I started this model because I saw how people were wrapped basically alone in their own houses. So their moms, they have to go to work in the fabric or in the garment fabrics. So we designed a model that it's been working for 15 years that I think is a interesting example on how can we improve this industry in the small cases. And I mean, it can work in all Latin America. What we decided is that we create different systems. For example, we use finance. We have a finance model that what we do is we give sewing machines with a very low interest rate to these women's industrial sewing machines. Here in Mexico, there is no financial institution that gives loans for sewing machines to these women. So we started doing this service with the objective of creating professional workshops in their own houses, all right, to really create these professional workshops. So we gave the sewing machines by loans. We added a very extensive work of technical support, of guarantee and courses to empower these workshops. And what we're doing is that we see that it's sometimes very impossible for them to go and seek for work, to go and seek for jobs opportunities, because they're in the workshops, they're working, and the production that they can do is minimum. So basically the amount of job that they can receive is from the intermediary of the intermediary of the intermediary in industrial uniforms. The pay is very, very low. So what we decided is that Cricut could be like this platform that we work especially with brands in the US that are looking for social innovation in their products. They are not looking to go to China, and actually it's very expensive for them because they are medium brands. So for them are very, very expensive to go to China for the production, and they are seeking other ways to have the production and cheaper. So we are a very cheaper model for them. So what we do is we connect these brands from California to New York, medium brands, and we generate this interesting model of we can help you not just with the production, but with the designs, with fabrics. And we're doing this long-term relationship with these brands that they are happy. They pay way more than the regular products, and we can give single productions to different workshops where we have a very interesting model of quality, control quality, and it's been working. Of course, we've been working with a lot of organizations, with a lot of programs. And for example, Hecho por Nosotros is working with us with the courses, with the toolkit. It's been amazing because we are working, giving the courses that Hecho por Nosotros has directly to the workshops here in Mexico. So this is an example that it's been working. A lot of people are saying, hey, this could work in Argentina, in Peru, in Colombia, Guatemala, and I think I really believe it. So that's what we're doing right here, and we're most than open to share any more information about the model.
Awesome, Gabriel. Thank you. It's very interesting because you are giving these women like a power, right? You're giving some power to them to help their families, and not with money. It's like an active thing that they have to create, produce, to be proud of, right? So I think it's very powerful what you are doing. Thank you for sharing. And I'm gonna give now the word to Andrea Nashim from Reciclar. Andrea, are you there? I can't see you. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. I give you the word.
Okay, I don't know because the presentation was in Spanish at the beginning, so
Yes,
I put all my slides in Spanish. I'm sorry, and I don't
Don't
know
worry.
if you have if you can use the videos that are in Spanish too.
That's okay. We can go
Okay.
with the slides, and you can present yourself and tell us about
Well,
your project and your brand.
Well,
Yes.
I am Andrea. I'm from Mendoza, Argentina, and we do e-waste since 14 years. So our business model is circular from the beginning, even though we didn't know that we were in a circular model. And we have different business units. We have the transportation, recycling, refurbishing, consulting, and we have one special unit that is why I'm here, that is sustainable design. We do jewelry with e-waste. So how we start to work, or which was our approach to Animana and Hecho por Nosotros, was in 2018. That we have the history was that we have some difficulties with one designer that we had hired, that she did our collection, but she refused, even though we paid her to explain to our producers how to make the collection. So I told Adriana, and she told me that that you were working, Animana and Hecho por Nosotros was doing a program. The name, I think it was Challenge Design, and we started in 2020, but was the pandemic, so we were a little slow in that time. So at the 2021, we were working with Hecho por Nosotros and with different designers. They help us to redesign this new collection with e-scrap. I don't know if you can pass the slides, but because I have some pictures, but this is the video of our company. So the other one,
Sorry.
I think it's
This
the
one.
third. No,
Okay.
if you can pass the four there. We started with the brand we had was Chloe, and we did some pieces, but they were with not design. I mean, the design wasn't from the designers. So that's why we wanted to start the collection with different professionals that can help us to do a collection with design. So in 2021, we did this work with Hecho por Nosotros and Animana, and they made a market study, and then they redesigned the collection, and we start with a new brand. The name of the brand is Rever. Means see or see again or watch again. To our collection was in 2022. We hopefully we could do the collection with the producer. So we have the first collection with these designs, and this year we have a new collection, not with the Hecho por Nosotros designers, but with new designers here in Mendoza. So we redesign our site too, with the site from this unit, because we have the site Reciclar recycling technology site, and we have inside our site, aside from the Rever, that is a different brand. So if you can show the video inside the, no, it's in the same slide. I mean, yes, you can see at the right, the image in the right is the video. Yes, I don't know if it's
I think
not
it
working.
doesn't. No, it's not working.
Okay, well, if you want to see our collection, do it with done with the e-waste. You can go to our site and see, because
Can you share?
I wanted. Yes, I
you
can
share
share.
on the message? So
Yeah, I will put the site.
with a link, yeah, so everybody
Okay.
can see it.
I can here. Yes. So here. This is the social media, and then the site is.
So that oh, sorry.
So
Okay.
just to finish,
Perfect.
our experience with Hecho por Nosotros was a very good experience, and we learned a lot, and we, thanks to this experience, we can go forward to our new collection. So that's
It's incredible. Thank you, Andrea. It's incredible what you are doing with these metals and things from technology that if not, they will all land in our landfill. So it's very interesting, and how
exactly.
you, yeah, and how you create such a value with the design, right? To these pieces that are mainly going to our landfills, if not. So I'm very happy to hear about your projects every day and your brand. I love it. So
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but I have to leave because I have a call 5
don't
minutes
worry,
ago.
you can go. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you all. I will give the word to Luna, or the original owners of this space. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I guess we were all sorts of just sharing the floor, to be honest. So thank you so much, everyone. And it's been great sharing the lab. So, you know, it's more entertaining this way. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing else from our side. I don't know if Alexandra, you have anything to add, or Etske. But other than that, from our side, we've presented everything.
Yeah, I think that SG is already gone. What I can add, I think that in the end, it was really nice that we could connect the two labs, and our topics had a really nice flow, and we could connect them so good. So it was really great to hear all of your stories and how you embrace the circularity in your businesses. So I think that's all from our side. It was great.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. We were so happy also to be sharing the space, and also because everything comes together, right? When we hear each other, like we are all of us, we are in the same page. So it's very, very, we are very lucky. We are all very lucky to be here. So should we go back to the main session? I think
that sounds like a plan, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you soon.